So fine, so let's start the class. So yesterday what we have did, so we have learned about the what I want to say about the display inline and all those things, right? So let me open the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so these all things, let's simulate these all things. So you people able to see my what I can say, the GitHub source code. So you people able to find it, right, without any difficulty. Now let's go on to another topics, the layout topic only. Let's try to initialize this what I can say, Visual Studio Code. Let it initialize. This will take some time. Okay. Yeah. Now what is the web page we have designed yesterday? Where is this web page? Yeah. So if we try to see the output of this one, okay, I will try to zoom it out. So here we are able to see the output, project title, and we have also designed the navigation bar using the concepts what we have learned, something like display block and the display inline block. Now what we will try to do is so we will try to learn some of the layout techniques. Okay, so layout techniques that are available. So the layout techniques what we have learned up to now is fine, but for example, let's say that if we want to add some text here at the right side, so this project title is in the left side. Now I want to add something, contact us or sales information or anything in the right side. So what I need to do, so we cannot do it, right? So for example, let's say that we are having the header. Where is this web page, right? Yeah. So if you want to add it, so here let's say that I can have a div and I can add something like sales, so 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this is the phone number I want to show it. Automatically if I try to see the output, the sales will come automatically here down, as this is a block level element. Now what I can do here, I can add a class sales number and I can take this CSS, and what is the CSS? Layout, right? So layout.css, and I can go down. So I can do in a such a way that this is of type display inline block. So in order to get it side by side, now what we need to do, so h1 is also a block level element. What we need to do is I need to make this one also as a display inline block. Now these both will come side by side. Fine. So these both came side by side, but now my requirement is this sales should not be beside this project title. It should be right side of this project title. So now what I need to do, let's assume that I have made this width of 50%. So exact half of the width I took, and here I took exact this half of this with 50%. Okay. So now with 50%, we know that this border box and all those things will come. Let's try to make we have this margin and all those things, I think. So let's make it as 14% or anything, so without any problem. So now it came here. Now what I want to do, so I want to make this one as left side. Let's open this one. Now this is the div and this is the div. Okay, I want to make this div to left side. So one easy method what you can do is you can make the text align right, and so that it will be moved to the right. Okay, so this is one scenario. Why? Because so we have made the box to move to the right side. The elements, whatever the data, whatever the text present inside this one, so we have made to move to the right side. For example, let's say that so this is what I can say 49%. Let's say it is only 30%. Okay, let's say this is only 30%. It is taking half it, but this is taking only 30%. Now I want this entire div to move to the right side. So not only the text, so this text what it is moving inside this 30%, it is moving left and right only, but I want this entire div alignment to move to the right side. So what I can do, sorry, there is no option, so I cannot use text align right, or otherwise if I want to use text align right here, I cannot. It will not work. Sorry, it will not work. Okay, So these all things are moving. Why? Because so here we are having what I can say, this one, right? So h1 and everything is there, right? So all the text inside this one, it is moving. So it should not happen like this. So in order to overcome this scenario, so in order to move the entire div to this one, so we have another concept that is nothing but a float concept. So let's try to understand this float concept. So before understanding this one, I will try to create a thing, float.html. How these floats will work. HTML5. Okay. Now let's say that I have a div element. Inside this div element, I have an img src. Let's try to take some Google image. Images, Google PNG. Let's try to say take some PNG image. Let's say this one is PNG or not. Open image in new tab. Okay, I am taking this image. I am copying this URL. Now here I am pasting this URL. Now this is the image. If I try to see the output for this one, let's say. Okay, so now this image is so much big, it is occupying the entire thing. Okay, fine. Let's try to make this one type img, whatever the img image we are having. I am making the width as 200 pixel. I am not giving the height so that I need to maintain the aspect ratio. Now the image is somewhat fine, so it's fine. Now I have a p element. Okay, inside this one I have a p element, so some text is there. I have another p element. Okay, some text is there. Now if I try to see the output, see now the text is coming below this one. Why? Because as the paragraph elements are block level elements, it will take the new line. I don't want this type of layout scenario. What I want is this data, this all data, okay, should be moved to the side. So here lot of space is there at right side. Left side the image takes only one part of the content only. Now here lot of space is there between this one. So the data should be in a such a way that in the newspaper you will be able to see in the middle image, and everything will be floated. The content will be floated around the image. So now I want to have that scenario. Now what I can do here, so for this p tag, okay, I can do float left. Okay, sorry, for this image tag I can do float left. So I am telling that it should float. For the image tag should float left side only. So that means this entire thing will not be taken by this one. So now paragraph element, what it will try to do is, so this one is floating. So this one is floating on the window. Now what the paragraph element will think is, so here that thing is there. So the entire text is the entire row, the entire line is empty. So it will try to take the place, but as this one is floating, so it will not cover it will not take the space. So here it will try to align it. Now if for example if we have the image in such a way that it is only 50 pixel, let's say. Okay, now image is very small. Now if you try to see the content is aligned in such a way that everything was aligned like this. So for example, let's say that we are having only some low rem only. Okay, if you try to see here, the another p tag also has been aligned. Why? Because we are having the paragraph margin, right? So because of this margin is coming. So now we are able to float around the content. Now if you try, let's make it as 100 pixel. Now this is how we can float the content around the image. Now this one is floating, image is floating, so that the paragraph element will think that nothing is there on the first line. So it will try to align it here only. Now I want to add the gap between these two things, means what I can do here. So I can add margin right of 1 em or something like this. Now if I try to see the output, see, so now we are able to see some nice alignment for this one. So for example, if I try to add lorem ipsum, now the text will be like this. If I try to add again some lorem ipsum, oh, now if you try to see, the content will be like this. So it will be floating around the image. Now I don't want this image to be on the left side. I want this image to be on the right side. Okay, I want this image to be on the right side. Now what I can do here, instead of having the float left, I can add float right. Okay, so now the image is on the right side. So you can do whatever thing is. So there is left and right, there is no middle. So left and right is there. Now here you can have this image at the right side, or otherwise you can have the image on the left side also. So this is how you can float the content around the image or any around anything. So it may be an image or it may be another text or anything. So you can float it. Now for example, let's say that I am having this p tag, right? Let's say that, so entire thing is completed. Now let's go to the another div. Okay, now here I am having a div tag such a way that we are having a lorem ipsum here also, and I am having another lorem ipsum also. Now let's try to see the output. So now if you try to see the output, so the lorem ipsum here, so this is the these two are the divs. So this one is the floated one. Let's try to draw one HR so that you will have clear understanding. Okay, so these are the two things. As div is a block level element, so each one took a new line. As paragraph element has the margin by default, div doesn't has the margin. Now I want these two content to come side by side, not like this. So one common way what you will try to do is class is equal to, let's say it's a boxes. Okay, now one common methodology what you will try to do is dot boxes, and here we can use the inside the boxes and the children of the boxes. So here I can use display inline block, and I can use something around width of 50% or something around like this. So inline block has some between gutter space, right? So because of this reason it will come down. So if you want to remove the gutter spaces, means I already told you that we need to remove, like we need to add it one by one. So there is some disadvantages in the inline block. So let's try to make it as 49% so that you cannot have. So now these both texts are coming side by side, but here we have kept, so we have kept 49% and all those things inline block, right? So we can achieve the same thing using the what I can say, using this float technology also. Now what I can say here, instead of adding this one for this div, I will try to add it float left. Okay, so now if I try to add float left, immediately see, so what is happening here, so the entire thing is gone confused. So what I will try to do is, we will try to remove this one so that we'll get understand very easily. And here I will try to add p tag so that we'll be able to understand. Okay, now we will try to remove. Okay, this image tag is okay. So I have arranged this one as float left. Okay, so what is happening here, boxes greater than p, I have added here p element. So for this one I have maintained float left. So now this one is on the, this one should be float left, and this one is also should be on the float left. Float left or what? Okay. So now we have added the float left. Now this one default width is 100%, right? So because of this reason, so they are not able to float it. For example, let's say that I have added a width of 50%. Now if you try to see the output, so they both are in the same level. So now if you try to see, previously display inline block, they have added a gutter space between these two things, so they will be having some minute space between that thing. But now the float left will not take the spaces. Now 50% width is there. As soon as I arranged the float left, so without applying this float left, okay, without applying this float left, what it has happened, so as these are block level elements, so it will take the 50% of width, and it is both will come side by one by one down only. But now what I want, this lower here 50% of width is there, I want this lorem ipsum to go this side. One concept what we have did is, we have did the display inline block. The another concept what we can do is, so with using this 50% and all those things, exact thing, we can use the float right, sorry, float not float right, float left. Okay, so we can use this float left so that these both things will be arranged exactly with 50% exactly took. Previously we used to get 49%. So we need to do some hacking methods, something like that. So we need to remove the space in the visual editor, or we need to we will be adding some font size 0 pixel, like this we used to do in display inline black. But whereas in the float left, there is no need for that one. So exact 50% it will try to take, and this one also exact 50% it will try to take. Now if you try to add border also, everything will work fine. So this is how we can use this float, what I can say, this float concept. Okay, now another concept what we will try to learn is, so here we don't have the border box, right? So because of this reason it is coming down. So let's try to add box sizing, border box. Now both will come side by side. So this is about the float concept. Now another concept what I want to tell you is, let's say that so this one will be very little bit of confusing, but in the layout techniques we need to understand it. For example, let's say that I'm getting back this image thing. Now here I am having one image. Okay, now let's say that I am having another image. Okay, I am having another image. Now both images are coming side by side. Okay, fine. So now what I want to do is, I want one image to come left and another image to come right. Now what I can do is, so here let's take that, I can take this left thing. Okay, I am taking one class, I am taking another one as a right thing. Now what I will try to do is, for this image so fine, so these images everything is fine. Now for the image which is having left, it should be float left, and the image which is having right, it should be float right. Okay, so whatever it may be. Now if you try to see the output, see, so one image has been sent to the left, whichever the thing it is, both actually both the images are same, so we are not able to estimate it, but one image went to the left and one image went to the right, and the text has been flowed between the two images. So like this also we can do it. So here we need to apply the margin, instead of having this margin right, we need to apply the margin left for this right content. Why? Because so this one is taking margin right, so now this one has to have margin right of 0. Okay, and if you want you can keep margin left of 1 em. So for one thing you need to keep like this. So now here for this image, it is left side, it is aligned, so which is having a left alignment, it is aligned left thing, and it is having margin right of 1 em, so that the content and image will have gap. So for this one it has been arranged, what I can say, right side, and like this it has been arranged. Now the P is flowing around the content, so the P content is flowing around the content. See here, so these two P's are assuming that as the images are not there, if you try to see, it is taking the whole width. If you try to see, so it is thinking that those two images are not there, which are in the left and right. So why? Because they are floating on the window. So we told to these images to float left side, and for this one to float on the right side. So because of this reason, these two p tags are thinking that there is none of the content is there on the first element. So it is trying to take the whole thing. And here also this one is taking the whole thing, but here the content is there, right? So that is the reason it is wrapping up. So this is the float concept. Now for example, let's say that these two images are arranged side by side. I don't want this what I can say, paragraph element to float around this one, so it should come down only. So for this reason what we need to do is, for example, let's say that only what I can say, for example, let's say that, let's try to move this one down. Okay, so this one will come down, I think. Okay, not a problem, we'll keep it like this only. Now what I want is, in such a scenario, I don't want this content to be coming in the floating thing, so I want to p tag to come down only. So just like normal how this block level is behaving, in that scenario only I want this float thing also to behave. Now what I can do for this one is, we have another option in such a way that, let's say that I am adding a class clear. Okay, so these are just class names, so don't think these are the reserved keywords or anything. Just I am adding a class name. Any class name if you want you can use it. So I am using the clear. Okay, and here I am using clear both. So here you will be having options. So which one you need to clear? You need to clear left or right or none. So I want to clear both left and right, both are there, right? Both elements are there. I am trying to clear it both. Now if I try to clear it both, see the p tags came to the normal situations, their default behavior, how they want to behave as in block level elements. Okay, previously the paragraph elements, the content used to float around the images, but what I told to the paragraph element is class first for the first one. Okay, so to clear everything, so these are float elements are there, so don't take those as a float elements, they take as a normal elements, we told. So now these all things has been cleared, so everything floating and all those things is cleared for this paragraph element. Now it is able to recognize that these two images are there. Now it come in the new element, new line. So these two paragraph elements. So this is the concept of this float, left, right, and none. If you try to see, so there will be only float, left, right, and none will be there. Okay, float, left, right, none. So these are the two things only you will be able to have. Okay, float, left, none, right. Inline start, inline line, same like float left and float right only. So this is all about the float concept. So you people able to understand this one? So little bit of confusing will be there. So while practicing, you'll be able to understand. So we will try to do this one, the layout architecture in the same scenario. How we will be doing? So for example, let's say that the layout thing we have did right using the display inline block. The same scenario we'll try to do it using this float also. Then you will have an idea. So these are what I can say is these float technologies are there since since now also it is there. So since right from the starting onwards, these float concepts are there. So right now we are having some advanced CSS and all those things. So grid and flex and all those things we are having. These floats are there from first onwards. If you want to float the content around the image, means we will be using this float concept only. Now this is all about the float thing. So before going into the responsive website design and all those things, we need to understand another concept, that is nothing but positioning. Okay, after completing of this positioning, so we will try to combine these two things and we'll try to do the layout thing. If I open now, I will try to open this, sorry, notepad, right? Notepad plus. We have learned how to position position the elements left and right and all those things. So now we have positioned all those things. Now we want any element to place it anywhere. So I want to place it top, bottom, anywhere, any middle, anywhere. I want to place it everywhere, wherever I want to place it. So if in order to place it, this one, for example, let's say that we have a scenario. The text is coming here, right? This text should not appear here. This text should appear at the bottom of the window. So if you are able to see some of the websites and all those things, at the bottom you will be able to see a chart button. So that whenever you are scrolling the web page also, this chart button will be coming with you only. So that means they are fixedly positioning that button to appear anytime. So wherever the user goes to the web page, so the chart button should be appeared at the bottom, right side or left side, top side, anything. Some pages, what you will try to do, you will be having a navigation bar as a fixed one. So whenever you are scrolling down, you will be able to see the navigation bar as a fixed thing. So that means they are positioning the navigation or any particular element, they are trying to position it. So how we can position it? So the positioning elements in our CSS, we are having 4 types of positioning thing. So positioning. So these are also one of the important thing in the layout concept. So first one is the static. Okay. So this is the position. This one is a default one. So we already know that every CSS property has a default value. So static is the default value. Next one is the relative. Next one is the absolute. Next one is the fixed. And the last one is the sticky. Okay, so this sticky is the new one which came. So almost most of the browsers support, but older browser doesn't support it, but we'll try to learn it. These things are supported by all the browsers. This sticky is somewhat new thing, so most of the browsers doesn't support it, but we can learn it. Now let's try to learn about the static first one. By default, every element is a static element, so there is nothing new to learn about that one. So for example, let's say that paragraph element, if you try to go to the computer and if you try to see what I can say, position, right? We are learning about the position. If you try to go somewhere MNOP, yeah, position. If you try to see here position, by default, PQ, where it has been went, position. Yeah, position by default always it will be static only. So the default behavior of every element if you try to see, it will be a static. Now we will try to learn about the relative thing. I will try to create a new file. Position.html. Now here I am having HTML. So let's say that I will be adding style here only. So try to listen it carefully. So I am having class is equal to box1. Okay, I will have another one box2. I will have another one box3. Let's say that I am having 3 boxes. Let's try to add a common class, something like box. Okay, now in this style I want to style it dot box. I will give some width of 50 pixel and height of 50 pixel. Okay, I will give a border of 1 pixel, solid red color or something like that. Now let's try to see the output of this one. Where is this position? Yeah, if I try to open this one, 3 boxes are coming side by side. Okay, let's keep it like that one, or otherwise if you don't want this one means, so to come side by side means we know that, so there are 2 concepts to make it side by side. One is the inline block. Okay, now if you try to see, some small gutter space will be there here in between this one, some small gap will be there for the inline block, or otherwise you can make float left also. So the concept we have learned, right? Float left. If you try to make the same situation comes, but there will be no gap. So display inline block has a default somewhat space here. Okay, fine. So now the 3 things are side by side. If you want to use anything, you can use it. Now this is a box1, box2 and box3. Let's try to write like that: box1, box2, box3. Box1, box2 and box3. We already know that the default, let's try to take the box2. So I want to move the box2. Now the default position for this one is static, so there is no need to mention this one. If you don't mention also, the default one is static. If you mention also, same thing. So nothing happens to this box1, box2, box3. 3 boxes are fine. They are aligned left side at the top, as expected it is arranged. Now what I want to do is, I want to move this box to little bit of down. Okay, or otherwise I want to overlap on the box1. So little bit of down if you want to move is, so one thing what you can do is margin top you can apply, and you can apply 30 pixel. Now if you try to see the output, so this has moved down. Okay, now I want to move left side. So if I want to move it left side means, what you can do, so margin left I will try to apply, and I will apply 30 pixel. Now if you try to see, this box 3 is also moving. I don't want this box 3 to move, so I want this box 2 only to move, and that means overlap on this box 3. So what I can do is, one concept is, so we can change this position to relative. Okay, so the difference you need to understand. So the relative, I changed it to position relative, nothing will happen. So if I change it to position relative, nothing will happen. It will be like that only. Now what I want to do is, as soon as you apply the left, so you'll be having 4 parameters, that is top, left, right and bottom. Okay, 4 parameters will be there. So first we'll try to see top. So I want top, it should move 30 pixel down. Okay, relative means relative to its original position. So the original position box 2 is in the middle, top at this there, right? So relative to that normal original position, it will be moving 30 pixel down. Now relative to its original position means it is in between the box 1 and box 3. Relative to its position, I want to move left side 30 pixel. Okay, previously it moved that box 3 also left side, but now what will happen is, only box 2 will move. So now this has came out of this original position. Relative to its original position, it will try to move wherever it want. Okay, if I try to give top 0 pixel means, it will go to its relative to its original position. It will go to the top. So that means its original position was there at the time. So it was left 30 pixel, right? That is the reason it has moved to the 30 pixel. So this is the concept of the relative. So relative to its original position. So previously it needs to, if I change it to static, it will go to its original position. See? So whatever the top and whatever the thing you apply also, it will not work. So when you change it to relative only, the thing happens. Okay, so now it has moved to the here. Now another thing, another concept. So you understood about this relative concept, right? So another concept what you need to understand is, so static thing is completed, relative concept is also completed. So it will move, box moves relative to its original position. no original position or normal position to its default position. So wherever it is previously on the static time, wherever it is, from that position onwards, relatively it will move around the window. Now next comes the absolute. So absolute will be little bit different. For example, let's say that I changed this one to absolute. Okay, I didn't apply anything. Now I changed this one to absolute instead of relative. Now see the wonder happens, what it has done. Now whenever I changed this to absolute, immediately that box has been moved away. If I try to show another example, then you will try to understand very easily. Let's say that I am having only one box. Okay, so I am having class is equal to box. So this one is around 200 pixel by 200 pixel, let's assume. Okay, now if we try to see, there will be no float left. Why? Because we have only one box. So this is one big box we are having. Okay, now inside this big box I am having another box with the name box1. Okay, this is a child box. So here I will try to add box1, and I will try to add in a such a way that width is equal to, so those are 50 pixel, and height I will try to add 50 pixel, and I will try to make it as border 1 pixel solid black. So this is one box. So now this is a child to this box, so it is inside this parent box. Now this one is fine. Now if I want to add this one relative, so if I try to add this one as relative, so the child box will stay wherever it is. Now let's try to say that we are having something like margin left of 100 pixel and margin top of 100 pixels, so that the box will come little bit down and left side. So here the box is, so not in the left side corner. Now whenever I changed this box1 to position relative, so it stayed inside this one only. Why? Because we didn't apply the top and bottom for this one. Now I will try to apply left of 30 pixel. Okay, now when I applied the left of 30 pixel means relative to its original position, it has moved 30 pixel. Now if I try to apply so now minus 30 pixel, if I try to do is relative to its original position, it will come outside. Okay, it will not stay inside this what I can say inside this parent element, so it will come outside. So relative means its original position is 0 pixel and it will move. So now, so this position concept you understood. Now let's try to convert it into absolute. Now whenever immediately I change it to absolute, now if I try to change it to absolute, so this stayed here only. Okay, this stayed here only. Now let's say that I changed it to top 0 pixel. Okay, so previously top 0 pixel, if I try to change it means it changed in it stayed inside the parent only. Now if I change it to top 0 pixel, immediately if you try to see here, it has went to the top. Okay, to the original position. Now I want the left side corner, so now it will not consider the parent, it will move around the window, around the viewport. So top 0 pixel means here, left 0 pixel means the left side corner it will be. So if I try to give left side 0 pixel, now see immediately it has moved to here. If I want here right side, so right corner it should be there means, so you can remove the left side and you can add right 0 pixel. Okay, so right 0 pixel means right side it will be 0 pixel. Now it helped. Now I need to have bottom right side. So what you need to do, instead of keeping the top, right side it should stay and it should stay the bottom. So I can have the bottom here. In the same scenario, relative also it will apply the same thing only. So it stayed at the bottom. Now if I want the left side at the bottom means, so what you need to do here, you need to add instead of right thing, it should be left thing. So you need to add the combinations like this. Okay, so here it will be. This is how you can move around the pages. So now if I want left side bottom, from bottom onwards it need to move 40 pixel up means it will move little bit of 50 pixel up, and left side it need to move something around 50 pixel left side means, so it will come left side 50 pixel like this. So this box will move around the viewport, so whatever the place it wants it will move. Okay, let's assume that body has an height of 3000 pixel, so its page is 3000 pixel height. So now it has a scroll bar. If I try to scroll it, so nothing will happen. Okay, so these things will stay there only. Now if I try to add something like bottom should be around 200 pixel or something like this means it will come down. Okay, so sorry, it will come, it will go top. So top we need to apply, sorry, it needs to be apply minus. So top it should be around 2000 pixel. It is 3000, right? So 2000 pixel if you try to apply means it will come so much bottom. So it will go bottom. I don't know where it will be. Yeah, here. So our height is 3000 pixel and it will go bottom like this. So it can be moved around the document. Now this is about the absolute. So it will not consider anything. So relative means it will be relative to its original position. Now here that's original position has gone away. It will move around the viewport wherever you want to place this top, left and all those things. It will move according to that one. Now the another one comes is the, so this one is completed. So moves around the window viewport. Okay, so wherever you want to place it, you can place it. Here in this 0 pixel means, so it will take to its original position. 0 pixel if you try to take its original position 0 pixel, but here 0 pixel means it will go to the left side corner. Now the another one is the sticky thing. So now it is the fixed thing. So now what is this fixed concept? So where is our thing? Okay, now let's try to change, remove this one all. Now I will change it to fixed. Okay, now let's try to see it. So fixed means here only it is there. Now if you try to see, when you scroll it also, okay, so it will stay at that place only. It will not move anywhere. So it will stay at that place only. So wherever it is, it will be fixed like that. Okay, if you scroll down also, it will be able to appear. If you don't scroll also, it will not appear. It will appear like that only. So this is the fixed thing. Previously for the absolute and all those things, when we scroll also, it stayed there only. But here it will stay at that point only. So it will be fixed like that. So wherever you scroll, it will be there like that only. Now I want to place this one at the top side. So here I want to place it. So if you want to place it, that top side means you can go and you can add it top 0 pixel. Okay. Now if you try to see here, so it has been placed it at, and if you want it here means, so you can place it left 0 pixel. So now it is at the top left side. Here it will be. Now if I try to cross scroll it, so everything will scroll, but this box will be stayed like that only. Now if I want to convert this one as a chart box or anything means, what you can do here, so it should be bottom 0 pixel and it should be right side 0 pixel, and I will try to do it. So let's try to just chart now or something like this. You will try to keep it. If you try to see here, so at the bottom you will be able to see chart now. So wherever you scroll it, so it will be like that only. And if you want to some designs and all those things means, you can do it. And now it is if you want to add some margin or anything means, so bottom it should go 20 pixel up and right side it should come 20 pixel right side. Now if you try to see here, somewhat it is somewhat nice looking. So here you can, when you click, a user clicks on this one, so you can open a pop-up window or anything, whatever you want, you can do it. So using this fixed thing, the people will be doing the chart box and all those things. If you try to see the inspect element, you will try to understand it. This is the fixed concept. Okay, now let's say that in our layout only, in our web page only, I will try to explain you. Now this is our layout concept, right? So now I want to make this one as a fixed thing. Okay, now let's try to see this web page. I try to open this web page, and this is our layout.css, and this is our nav thing, and we don't have anything. Okay, now what I can do here, nav I can convert it into position fixed. Okay, now when I convert it into position fixed, automatically this one will go here. Now this one has compressed, right? So you can add width of 100%, so not a problem. So that it came outside our window, right? Now it is 100%. Now let's try to make the body also. Where is this body? Height, so that our web page is somewhat little bit bigger. We'll try to understand. Okay, and I will write off a background. Now you will have a scroll bar, and now if I try to move it, so it is coming so like that only with us. But now here we are having a situation that it is having some white space at the top. It should not happen like this. So what I can do here, for this nav thing, I can apply top. It should be top 0 pixel. Okay, now it is top 0 pixel means now it is at the top. So whenever you scroll, it is fine. Now one problem is there in this one. So if you go top, see it is coming at the place where it is. So now what is happening here is, whenever you make this position as fixed and it is 0 pixel means it will stay at any time at the top only. But here this should not be the scenario. When it comes to the top, it should be remain in the original place. When we are scrolling down, it should stick to the top side. So here for this scenario, what you will be having is, so we will be using the sticky concept. Okay, this place comes the sticky thing. Now sticky means it will stay wherever it is. Now when we scroll here, immediately now it will come. So wherever it wants to come, it will come. Okay. So whenever we are scrolling, so whenever this position comes 20 pixel, 0 pixel, so top, it will be like that only. For example, if I try to add 20 pixel means, you will try to understand. So it will come little bit down. See here. Now if I try to place it here, if I try to move it, so before 20 pixel only, it started scrolling down. Okay. So this is about the difference between the what I can say fixed and the sticky. So if I try to maintain 0 pixel means, so first it will stay wherever it is. Now when you are scrolling down, so when this turn comes, so 0 pixel. So now the top position for this one is around 10 pixel. Now if I try to move it little bit down, now the top for this one is 0 pixel. Everything conditions met. So now it will try to stay at the top only. Now whenever it is coming here, it came to the original position. Okay. So now it came to the original position. So it will go away. So it will stay wherever it is. What? So whereas this fixed thing. So wherever if you try to see the fixed thing. Okay. Now if you try to see this fixed thing, it all the time, so it will not consider anything. All the time, wherever it may be, it will be fixed at the 0 pixel itself. Okay, it will be fixed at the 0 pixel itself. So this is the difference between fixed and stick, and relative and the absolute. Now there is another concept. What I can want to tell you is the combination of the relative and absolute. For example, let's say that one second. For example, let's say that we are having this position thing, right? Let's try to see this output. We are having this position thing. Now we are having this chart button. Now what I want is, what I want in this scenario is, so whatever may be, okay, the box, whatever may be the box, that should float around inside this parent only. Okay, this should float inside this parent only. It should not come outside this parent. Now when I keep it as an, what I can say, let's say that where is this box one? So this is the box one, right? We have maintained as fixed, right? So for example, let's try to maintain it relative. Okay. So now if I try to maintain this one as relative, okay, now this one is coming outside, this one is going outside. So that means, so now relative, if I try to maintain is, this one is going outside and this one is maintaining. So this one is relative to its original position, it is maintaining. So that means inside the parent, it is not moving. Now inside the parent, if you want to restrict inside the parent means, what you can do is, you can make this parent, okay, box parent relative. So you can change it to relative. Okay. Now this one you can change it to absolute. So whenever you change it to absolute, so this one will move inside this chart now only. Okay. So now for example, let's say that I kept this one as bottom 0 pixel and right as 0 pixel. Now for this absolute, previously the window viewport is the boundaries for this one. Window viewport is the boundaries for this chart now. Now I kept this parent div the relative. So now this absolute, what I can say, this chart now button, so its boundaries are not this entire viewport, this parent element only. Whenever you change the parent to relative, its boundaries are, so these only. Okay, so for this one only. For example, if I try to remove for the parent relative thing, now immediately bottom right 0 means it will go away and it will move to the viewport. So at the bottom it will try to stay. But I don't want this one to move wherever it want. I want to stay inside this parent element only means, then you can say, you can make this one as parent position relative, and this position absolute bottom right 0 means, so inside this one only it will be happening. So if you want to keep minus 10 pixel, it will happen. So but I am trying to tell you the concept that position relative means inside this parent only, this box one will rotate. So absolute means, so all its games will play around inside this parent only. So it will not go outside the parent and it will not play. So wherever you want to move it, you can move it. So 10 pixel if you want to move it means inside this parent only it will move top. So left I want to have, if you want to, you can also give something around 50% also. So the percentage also it will work. So 50% it will move to the middle of this one. If you want here another what I can say 50% means it will go to the center. Something like this. It will not center. Something like this it will be. Okay. So this is how, these are the different types of positioning that we are having in our CSS. So static, relative, absolute, the combination of relative and absolute. Fixed, it will not use the combination thing. Fixed and sticky. So these two combinations, if you try to use this, it will do like this. Inside this one, it will try to move. So if you don't have the parent element as a relative means, if you try to make it as absolute, it will move around the viewport. If you try to give it relative means to its original position, it will try to move it. Okay, so this is all about the positioning thing. So do you people able to understand this positioning, float and the positioning thing? So these are the actual important things you need to understand. So for example, let's say that we have our page.html, right? So now I will try to show you. So let's try to remove this nav thing, position fixed. If you want, you can use the sticky concept also. Now it will be very easy, easy for you. So the navigation will be very what I can say, at the top. Now what I want to do is, so this home, about us, feedback, these things are there, right? For which one we are applying this one? So display inline block, I want to remove this display inline block. Wherever I am using this display inline block, I will try to remove it. Okay, sales number, let's try to keep it. Now these are one by one down, right? So as UL elements, LI elements, how is there? Now what I want to do is, I want to move wherever it want. So how can I move? So these are width 25%, and here I can use float left. Okay, I can use this float left. Now if I use this float left, so these are width 25%. So let's try to remove this one. Tomorrow we will do another layout structure so that you will try to understand it. So why is this one is coming? Okay, so this okay, I removed this display inline block, right? So now as we immediately moved this one to what I can say, float left, immediately everything got. So now what I can do, so here I can use this display inline block, so that it can take the, so there is no need to use this float left. Okay, now I changed this one to float left. Now whatever it may be, so it has we got the same output. Now for example, let's say that now we used this font size 0 pixel, font size 16 pixel, there is no need to use this one. And somewhere we have used this font size 0. Yeah, we have used it here, right? We can remove these all things. So for the display inline block, remove the cutter. Now here exactly it has set the float left. Now we have changed it from the display inline block to float left. Now what I will try to do is the same scenario, project title and the sales thing. So I want to move left and right. So here we are having h1 and div, right? Now where is the h1? So here we are having, so there is no need to use this one. Okay, font size inherit, okay, width 50%. And another one is sales number, where we have added the sales number. Yeah, here there is no need to add this one. So this one, let's keep it as 50%. There is no need to bother about that 49 thing. Now we have removed it to, so now these both are coming one by one. So now I want this one to be float left and this one to be float right. So now I want this one to be float right. This is already in the left side, so there is no need to bother. So I want this one to be right side. So what I can do for the sales thing, I can move it to the right. Move it to the right, I will say. Now immediately it has moved to the right. Okay, let's try to move it to the left. So why? Because so this one is a block level element. Float left. Let's try to see what will happen. So now this has moved to the float left. Now you can do whatever thing you want. So for example, this one is if you try to make it as 30%, still it is float right side only. Now if you want, you can add this text line right, so that it will be left side. So now here the h1 and all those things is remove this one, so you can add the height of something like this. Okay, so height you need to add the height so that these are floated outside, right? Because of this reason you are getting, so you can add a height of something around 40 pixel, so that it will take it. So these both are floated. Float left I have used and float right we have used, and this one, so the text also should be right side, so for that reason we can add the text line right. Now the same thing happens without any problem. So this float right also we have used it. Now I want to use some content here. So how can you use the content? Let's say that in the webpage.html, so up to here it finished, and now here I am using article. Okay, so I am having one section. In this section I will be having one image, img src is equal to, so where we have used this one, in the float we have used it, right? Yeah, I can use this one. So now I can use some other p article, lorem ipsum. Okay, now this is one section. I will try to repeat another section also. So now if you try to see, both the sections are coming one by one. What I can say is, so left we are having. Okay, now let's go to the CSS. Try to add directly for the image. It should be around width of 100 pixel or something like this. Okay, so it will be like this. Now I want this both the articles to be come side by side. Now what I can do here, we are having article, so let's try to take the article and I will try to make it as width 50%. Okay, so both of them will take the 50%. Now both of these should come side by side. So now what is the thing we are having? So this article I made it as 50%. So these two are the sections which should come side by side. Now what I can do here, let's take the section. Okay, and let's try to make it. Why I have made article? Okay, article. Okay, article itself I made 50%. So no, so I need to make the section 50%. Article should be 100% only. Okay, so now if you try to see the same thing, but the article is 100%. Now 50% I will try to make this section as float left. Now let's try to see the output, how it will come. So both comes side by side. Okay, now inside this one, if you want to make it means, so you can make this image also, what I can say, where is this image also float left. Now it will float over the data. Now the data will be float around this one. Okay, so this p tag has a margin thing, because of this reason it is coming. Now if I have another article, so let's say that not article, so right now I have added this one without any classes. Now let's say that we are having another div. Okay, so here I am having another p lorem ipsum. Okay, now it will come down like this. So like this we can arrange the layouts in a such a way. Now if I want another one means, you can use the float left again, the article, another the article. For example, let's say that we are having section, another section, I can add it here at the down. We are having with 50%, right? It will come down. Okay, it will come down. Why? Because 50%, 50% and 50%. So this one will come at the side. So if you don't want this one to come to the side means, you can add some such a way that this div, right? So this one you can make it as class is equal to clear. Okay, and you can go to the layout CSS and you can use this clear, and we can use the clear both. Okay, so now this p will come down. So this is how we will be designing the layout actually. So if you want to entire thing means, you can make this one as with 100%. So this one will go entire thing. So with this image. So like this you can go on design the layout thing. So this is all the entire layout structure, how we have designed using the positioning. If you want to add a chart window, you can add it button here. So you can create HTML and you can add the chart button here. So this is the complete layout structure. So how we will be designing in the previous thing. So we can design now also, we're using like this, not a problem. With the tables we will be not doing, with the floats we can do it. Bootstrap 3 entire uses the concept of float concept only. Bootstrap 4, Bootstrap 5 uses the another concept, that is nothing but flex and grid concept. So which we'll try to learn afterwards. So this is all about this layout structuring. Tomorrow what we will try to do is, we will try to make this one as responsive. So now right now if you try to see this output, see everything is crumbled, so nothing is working fine. So we need to make in a such a way that this should look responsive. So like this we'll try to make it as responsive. I will try to show it how to make the responsive thing using the media queries, how we can do this responsive. So if you have any doubts in this one, you can ask. So these are very important actually. So it will look very easy for you while telling, but when you try to practice and when you try to use the combinations only, it will try to bother you. So even me also, I will be confused. Why? Because when what I can say, when the HTML is growing, then you will get confused. Okay, and right now we have used around 75 lines of CSS. Okay, so these all CSS we have written. Each line you should be able to understand why we have used these lines and all those things. Then afterwards, when we are learning Bootstrap, these all things are gone, so nothing will be useful. So we can use the Bootstrap classes. So if you have any doubts means, you can ask, or otherwise we can end this call. Fine, right? So this is the layout concept, and we have another concepts like flex, and we already discussed it, right? Flex, grid, container queries, these all things are there, which are beyond the scope of the training actually. So I talked with Abhishek also. So he told that to tell the basic thing, how they can do the responsive website and all those things. So we'll do up to here and we'll try to learn the responsive thing. So now we have designed the basic layout. So now you can play around. So now you can do the W3 schools, and you can take whatever the web page you want. You can do it and you can design it now. So if you understand these things, placements and all those things, the combination of CSS properties, how we need to apply, is the main concept you need to understand. Then afterwards, you will be adding the media queries, and I will try to tell you the real-time scenario how we will be using the media queries very easily, so that if you follow that approach, the responsive design will not be a nightmare. So if you try to add the media queries more and more means, so we cannot predict how the website will look in different devices. So I will show you how we can do that one. Tomorrow you'll see about this media queries, and we'll try to practice those things also. So fine then. So tomorrow you'll meet. Bye then.